the two have in common, that's coming up on The Whitney Reynolds Show.
The Whitney Reynolds Show is supported by the Illinois chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, whose mission is to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. Children's Learning Place, excellence in early childhood education since 1998. Evolve Her, a collaborative workspace for women. Kevin Kelly with Jameson Sotheby's International Realty. Luxury is an experience, not a price point. The J. Parker, a Chicago rooftop restaurant at the Hotel Lincoln. And Hollis Plyman & Company, a Jacksonville CPA firm assisting individuals and businesses with financial success. Special thanks to Dr. Daftari and the team at Art of Modern Dentistry. Cellular Intelligence. Goldfish Swim Schools of Chicagoland. Deluxe Cleaning Services. Iga Salon and Spa. Chicago Andrea Creative. And Export Fitness.
Welcome to a special edition of The Whitney Reynolds Show. Yes, I am on a horse, and this little guy has everything to do with today's show. Horses are doing what some experts can't, healing emotional and physical wounds with a unique therapy. After years of trying the traditional route, we're meeting people who have found healing and hope with horses. We're talking equine therapy. You're watching The Whitney Reynolds Show. Today, we are at Equestrian Connection, home to horses that are healing people in a unique way. Visionary Diana Schnell founded this and knows firsthand from her own family the power behind this type of therapy. Thanks for having us here today, Diana.
I'm so glad you came back to see us. Thank you.
It's amazing. I would like to say this is almost like a miracle ground location.
Oh, thank you.
So many things happen here at Equestrian Connection. Tell us a little bit about what's going on behind us and what happens right here.
Oh boy, changes as ever. There are a lot of moving parts to this place, which is great. In the background right now, you'll see a really cool group of boys who spend their day here learning job skills. And it's called Wranglers. And in exchange for them, helping us out, we give them therapeutic rides on the horses. So
you said two words, which I want to pull out because this is kind of a new, interesting concept: therapy and horse. Mm-hmm. That is essentially exactly what you're doing here. But horse therapy, is it something new?
It's not new. It actually goes back to the Roman times. They used to use, when a soldier got hurt, they'd put him on his horse, hoping that would help him revive him. But it's new to the United States. It started, when we started in 2001, there were 500 centers in the world. Now there are close to 900 in the United States, of which we're in the top 10, I believe now, size-wise. So we grew quickly.
So you started this in 2001. Mm-hmm. What was your personal part of the story that helped this launch?
My boys are disabled. They're twins. They're identical twins. Never were diagnosed, but they were very floppy. They're like rag dolls. And I did every therapy in the books. I had therapists coming day in, day out, and it helped. But I kept thinking there was something more we needed to do. And a friend of mine who had a child with a disability, I noticed he was making some gains. And I asked, parents talk. Yeah. So I said, what are you guys doing these days? And she told me about equine therapy up in Lake Geneva. So I said, oh, we're doing this. So it was right after the school year. So we went every single day. I drove them up to Lake Geneva. They did the program. And the next thing I knew, they were sitting taller. They were able to start a walking gait with my assistance. they were and they felt good about themselves. I didn't have to drag them to therapy. They were like excited. Like one of them really thought he was a cowboy, you know. It was very cool. So at the end of that summer, the owner said, "We're not going to make it. The program's going to end." And I'm like, "It can't end. I have to call my husband. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to call him and see if he'll let me quit my job and do this." And I don't know why, but he said, "Sure." I mean, I was really kind of shocked that I didn't have to give him more data on the phone. And he said, "Just make sure you tell me everything that's going on." So we did a business plan, and this was when 1 in every 300 children being born had autism, and now it's 1 in 67. So we did not project that growth, but it just took off.
Did your boys have autism and it was just undiagnosed at that time?
They have some tendencies for that, but they were never given that diagnosis because they had some physical issues too. So doctors were kind of on the fence as to what to give them.
Well, and autism has really, in the last, decade, really, more people are being diagnosed, and even the studies, they're finding out more about it almost by the day.
It's amazing.
So with that, because the spectrum is broad when it comes to that type of special need, do you have to tailor each of your clients or the patients' rides for whatever they have?
We do, and that's why we took the approach we took. The centers, we started researching the centers that were out there, and they would often have one therapist in the center of the arena with various helpers helping each child. And we said the only way, and I noticed, well, two children may have the same diagnosis, like my boys, and have totally different needs. So we're going to do everything one-on-one. We're going to give every child a therapist. We're going to give every child, individual goals and work that way, and it worked.
And it doesn't just stop with the special needs community here. It also can be physical, like you were saying earlier. If someone has an injury, there's a lot of different type of therapies that go on. Can you highlight just a few of those? We
can. I'm really impressed by those who have spinal cord injuries and have no mobility at all, and yet are able to sit upright with a therapist with very little assistance because of the horse's movement and their posturing. And that blows me away. So we've had several people with bicycle accidents or car accidents, and they're saying, "This is the only time, this is how I walk now." I mean, it's not a miracle therapy, you know what I mean? It's a huge catalyst to probably everything else they're doing in their life. And that really holds true for the mental health side of the world, right? Where they're just used to being in a clinic, and suddenly we're taking them out of that clinical setting and helping them in a different way. And sometimes that's, just the magic they needed.
Oh, I love that. We're actually going to sit down with a veteran organization that you're working with here at Equestrian Connection. And I can't wait to find out more about this. Thank you for being bold in the fact of seeing something that worked firsthand for you and seeing that it could work for others and creating something so wonderful. So thank you, Diana.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it that you see that. But also it's how we've grown. We keep growing by looking for those gaps out there, those service gaps for families, and trying to fill those gaps here if we can.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
His first word was horse, and here Liam has found a love and therapy that works for him. And his mom, Megan, has found hope. They join us now with more. Welcome to the show, Megan and Liam.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us about your son, Liam, and your connection here with the horses.
So Liam was born with Down syndrome, and he has low muscle tone. So we started here at Hippotherapy to help him with his core muscles. And also when he started, he wasn't walking, he wasn't talking. So his main method of getting around was butt scooting. And he would butt scoot with his legs wide and use his feet to push. So we started here to help get him stronger, to hopefully help him walking and talking and all those things.
So when did you know that he needed this type of therapy? Because as a mom, making that decision of what you would do, I feel like that would be a difficult choice.
Yes. So Liam was in early intervention. And when he was 1 year old, my early intervention therapists were recommending hippotherapy.
And when we say hippotherapy, I mean, that sounds so fun because I picture hippos and all that kind of
Yes.
stuff. But is that actually like body therapy is what that is?
So it's technically, hippo is the Greek word for horse.
Oh.
So it's technically therapy on the horse.
And what kind of therapy is this? Is he laying down? Is he riding? Like, what's happening?
It's amazing all they can do on the horse. Sometimes he sits on the horse normally forward. Sometimes they have him sit backwards on the horse.
Wow.
Sometimes they have him sit sideways.
And we're talking about the little kid we just saw just now.
Yes, yes. They have him standing on the horse as well. And sometimes he's actually on all fours on the horse. And all of this, the movement of the horse mimics the movement of the pelvis when you're walking. So it really, all these different ways stimulate him physically in different ways, getting his muscles stronger.
Yeah, so what did that feel like when you found out what was going to be in Liam's future?
I was so happy to have another baby, to hold him and to care for him, but the diagnosis, caused a lot of grief. And someone at my child's school, one of the moms came to me and she said, "You're not alone." And coming to a place like Equestrian Connection, it's true. I never had experience with special needs before I had Liam. So fear of the unknown, what does it mean? What's going to happen? And coming here and seeing, there is support out there and I'm not alone is a wonderful, wonderful feeling.
That is so spectacular. So you get here the first day, and it really is kind of this, you come in, and until you see it, which hopefully our viewers are seeing everything that's happening behind us, but you really don't know all the amazing things that's happening right here.
Yes, yes.
And so he had low muscle tone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of what the riding helped build his core?
Yes, definitely. So as I said, when he started here, he wasn't walking. And so he started here 3 months, within 3 months, he started taking steps at home. And he would take 2 to 4, occasionally 6 to 8 steps. And what happened is after being here for 3 months, he had a hippotherapy session. He came off the pony and he started walking all around the stable. And it was so exciting to see that happen. And everyone else around the stable participated in celebrating, and we videoed him walking around, and we stayed for about an hour and a half after he was done riding. But he was so motivated, and this environment motivates him so much.
Is it one of those things that when he is with the horse and with the trainer that you see just a different side of your son come out?
Yeah, I just see it's, like I said, it's motivating to him. I see him jargoning more. His communication. For example, his therapist came to me one time afterward and she said, "Megan, he signed, horse, eat, apple." So he put 3 signs together. So, it's motivating him to communicate.
Well, and his first word actually happened here.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
So horse was his first word, and he'll sign horse like this, but he'll say horse, and it's been wonderful for us to see his connection to horses, and it allows my family, my other 3 children, and my husband to connect to Liam. We get him toys, of horses. We can play games with him. We show him videos of horses, so we can really connect to him on another level.
That's an interesting point that I'm glad you pulled out, because sometimes when someone faces something that is unknown to us, we find it's hard to find that common ground and how we do the segue in between.
Yes.
And you're saying that the horses have even provided that.
Yes, absolutely.
Besides just the physical, and we talked about the speech, but what about just the mental component of his development here?
So I would say definitely it stimulated him cognitively, and just like I said, even piecing 3 signs together. That's
Huge.
Huge, yes, to see him being able to do that. When he comes in here and there's other animals, there's dogs, and there's a cat, and just the whole environment is very stimulating for him.
Now, for our viewers watching that say, okay, this sounds amazing, horses, healing, is it something that happens at a facility like this that knows how to work with the horses? Or would you say our viewers can go out and get a horse and they would have some of the same things? Have you thought about buying your own horse?
I've thought about it long term, not in the short term, maybe looking out to the future, but definitely right now I'd say you would need the support of a facility like this. And, the therapists that are here and the experience that people have here. And so definitely starting in a facility, maybe looking toward the future after you've been doing this for quite some time. And with the help of people here, they could give great direction on helping you along that journey. Liam being 4, we have some ways to go in that journey, but, certainly it could be in his future. And this is something I intend to do for him long term. This is a great thing to help him over his lifetime, keep his core strong, and keep him stimulated.
And when you say therapist, is it physical therapist? Is it psychologist? Like, who's working with him out there?
Yes. So for Liam, we have an occupational therapist that works with him. So they have, of course, physical therapists here, and rehabilitation therapists, and speech therapists, and many different types of therapists. For Liam specifically, we've chosen an occupational therapist.
So you can pick a different type of therapist depending on what you need.
Yes.
And does insurance cover this?
Insurance does not cover...
Even though it's with a therapist that insurance normally would cover?
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct. Hippotherapy has not yet been approved through insurance anywhere to cover. So it doesn't matter what insurance you have. It is reimbursable through your flexible spending.
Okay.
But not through your insurance.
And this has been something that has been the investment just in your son in general. Like,
That's
just to
correct.
See.
That's correct.
What would you want to leave our viewers with? Kind of that most amazing moment that's happened here for you guys.
The most amazing moment, I would say, is his first steps here. It was amazing to watch him walk around the facility and to see how excited he was, and my excitement and my emotion of watching, my toddler, who I was working with different therapists, through early intervention at home and then here at Equestrian Connection, to see him finally take his steps after all that hard work.
So I feel like Liam has found a lot of healing with the horses, but it sounds like to me you found hope.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's now time for our viewer's voice, and this week's question is, have you ever tried an alternative therapy?
I've used alternative therapies very successfully, especially homeopathy and acupuncture. Both my kids were treated with homeopathy since they've been little, and acupuncture has helped with a variety of issues, which I feel are much safer and effective than some other more harsh treatments.
Get social with us. Make your voice heard. Submit your video on WhitneyReynolds.com.
Hold your horses for our next Celebrity Cares. We're meeting our leading lady. Well, this is a different type of Celebrity Cares because we actually have Lady here. Lady, is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers? Oh, yeah? Tell me more. Well, we have Mike, her caretaker, also here, and he is going to explain how famous this little gal is.
Lady's a famous racehorse. Let's see. She had 4 races. She came into money, meaning she made money in all 4 races, and actually there's a picture up front of her at Turfway.
And when you say she won races, how hard is it to win a race?
I would say it's 1 out of 1,000 that's born every year to win.
So she won tons of races, but now in retirement, she is helping veterans.
She's helping veterans. She's used strictly for companion. This is what she does. I mean, anyone can have a dog or a rabbit and et cetera, but it's something special about a horse. This is exactly what she does, and this is her job.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Mike. And Lady, anything else you'd like to tell our viewers at home? Oh, yeah, taking a bow. The horses are helping our heroes, veterans. And the program is called Road Home, and they're making a big impact. Let's take a look. Welcome to the show, Will.
Thank you.
So we're at Equestrian Connection today, and we have you on because you've partnered with Road Home. You're the director of it.
I am.
And Road Home looks out for our vets. So explain a little bit of your program to us.
Sure. So the Road Home program is a veterans and family program based out of Rush University Medical Center. And basically what we treat is the invisible wounds of war and life. Those being post-traumatic stress, military sexual trauma, traumatic brain injury, and a variety of other behavioral or mental, health challenges.
You just hit a couple points that I don't think we've ever pulled out on this show. Whenever you say the invisible wounds, you said the PTSD, which is something that you hear a lot of. But then you said a few more. What were those again?
Yeah, so post-traumatic stress is what we always hear about, or we always hear post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. But there's other things that happen when men and women, are serving overseas, or even in, locally, or stateside. Traumatic brain injury, so an explosion or something else that traumatizes them, that rattles their brain basically, and military sexual trauma. People are hearing more and more about that, and it's unfortunately something that happens in the military where men and women take advantage of each other's authority and unfortunately do things in a sexual way and traumatizes men and women. So we serve all three of those communities and those needs.
That is incredible, because some of those things I have not heard of, and I think it's so great to shine light on things that might have been in the dark in the past. And so that's what you're rooted in for helping people recover from those. So how did you find the connection with horses?
So there's a grateful volunteer here, Julia Howard, who actually introduced us to Equestrian Connection probably 2 or 3 years ago. And so we've been working with Equestrian Connection, to kind of see how this works. Because at first I wasn't really in tune or aware of the horse therapy, equine therapy, and how it works. But since we've been doing this, it's been incredible. The results and the outcomes have been fantastic. And our veterans love it. They love coming here.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This has become such like a few buzzwords whenever you say equine therapy, because now it's like it's on everyone's radar. Right. And a few years ago, I don't know if it really was. And so until you get out here and experience like the different things it can do, and we've been talking special needs, physical, and now with our veterans, right, which are our heroes here in the States, but also serving for us. But then when they come home, they need this type of help.
Right, exactly.
So you said you were a little hesitant at first. Was it because you see a horse, or you're like, what is this really going to do? How did you connect the dots that it did help?
Well, we came here and we talked to Ruth Alexander, and we met Diana and others, and we let our vets come out here and check it out and see what was, experience, what they do here. And what we found here is people that are very compassionate, very caring. And then as you see the horses, they really, being large, powerful animals, but yet very sensitive animals, just like our veterans. And so the veterans really were in sync with the horses. And so whether riding or non-mounted, experiences or other things, they really enjoy coming here and being here. And it really makes, it makes their day when they come here.
Well, I love the picture you just painted of like the horse. It's strong, but yeah, they are sensitive, and that's just like our heroes.
Right, exactly.
They have these real feelings too. What is one of your biggest success stories that's come out of the Road Hope program with the horses?
You know what? There's so many. I just think the overall experience, we bring people out here from our intensive outpatient program. Mm-hmm. At the Road Home program, we have a variety of different programs. We have a traditional outpatient setting, and then we have this intensive outpatient setting where we bring vets and their family members in for a 3-week programming and do a variety of different things with them, from group and individual therapy, yoga, a variety of different things at Rush. Wow. But then we also partner with other organizations, one being Equestrian Connection. And this is another avenue of, therapy and opportunity, because they come out here, they're with the horses, or they do art therapy, or they do massage therapy. It's just a nice getaway to get out of the city. Yes.
That is so incredible. Well, thank you so much, Will, for coming on.
You're welcome.
Hope, healing, and horses. As we've seen here today at Equestrian Connection, this therapy is truly changing the world. For more information on today's show, visit WhitneyReynolds.com.
Go beyond the interview with Whitney Reynolds in her 52-week guide of inspiration. The book goes deeper with the stories you see on The Whitney Reynolds Show. To order your copy for $12.95 plus shipping and handling, go to WhitneyReynolds.com/store and use code PBS.
The Whitney Reynolds Show is supported by the Illinois chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, whose mission is to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. Children's Learning Place, excellence in early childhood education since 1998. Evolve Her, a collaborative workspace for women. Kevin Kelly with Jameson Sotheby's International Realty. Luxury is an experience, not a price point. The J. Parker, a Chicago rooftop restaurant at the Hotel Lincoln. And Hollis Plyman & Company, a Jacksonville CPA firm assisting individuals and businesses with financial success. Special thanks to Dr. Daftari and the team at Art of Modern Dentistry. Cellular Intelligence. Goldfish Swim Schools of Chicagoland. Deluxe Cleaning Services. Iga Salon and Spa. Chicago Andrea Creative. And Export Fitness.